Hi, everyone. What is your attitude towards life? Do you know that things called attitude diseases? Do you know your attitude towards situations and circumstances can actually determine how far you will go in life? What's your attitude towards your job? Your attitude towards the people around you? Your attitude, if you are married, what's your attitude towards your spouse? Your attitude towards your kids? What's your attitude towards you wanting to be successful in life? How does your attitude make you feel when you encounter challenges that you feel are way beyond your scope? Today we're going to be talking about attitude, and I'm just going to shed a bit of light on how I feel attitude transcends into progress, success, failure, and just based downright envy, jealousy, and all the bad stuff that you don't need in your life, and that the personal developmental journey wouldn't allow you experience once you jump on it and use it the way it's supposed to be used. Have you ever gone to a restaurant or gone to have a meal and a waiter or a waitress comes to you and takes your order, and for some reason they start to give you like an attitude problem, like there's this bad vibe you can already sense from the way they are transacting with you? I mean, let's paint a very simple picture. You walk into a restaurant, you sat down on the table, you are accosted by a waiter or a waitress, you place your order, right? And they say it will take you 10 to 15 minutes for your meal to be ready. Now it's gone way past 15 minutes and your meal is still not ready, and nobody's even telling you anything about why there's a delay. Then all of a sudden you get a bit uptight. You reach out for the waiter or the waitress, and they give you an attitude like, really, seriously, if the food is ready, won't I bring it for you? How does that make you feel? I mean, this is you churning out your hard-earned money to get a meal to satisfy your hunger, and the people who you're going to be paying, because it's not free, the people who you're going to be paying are giving you an attitude. I want to ask you a very simple question. Haven't had that meal and they present you a bill, right? And just at the bottom of the bill there's a portion that says tip. That's basically tipping the waiter or the waitress. Are you going to be compelled to wanting to tip that individual who gave you a very poor service? I'm very sure a lot of us, I don't think, anybody in their right senses would want to leave a tip. Now, that same scenario, let's play it back again. You got into the restaurant, you were accosted by a waiter or a waitress, they took your order, they told you it would take 10 to 15 minutes, it's gone way past 10 to 15 minutes, but in this scenario, the waiter or the waitress comes intervally to tell you or give you update of why your food isn't ready, and they give you the most pleasant saying, oh sir, please bear with us, your food will come now, why don't you try some nuts, or why don't you have water whilst you wait for your meal, or maybe there's some form of an entertainment that they can let you enjoy whilst you wait for the food, having been told that it will take more time. Now the food comes in way after the 15 minutes that you were initially told by the waiter or the waitress, and but in this scenario they're very apologetic, they're very sympathetic towards obviously having delayed your meal, and they give you that constant care from the start of the experience at the restaurant till the end of that experience at that same restaurant. Now when the bill is presented this time, do you think you will feel more compelled to give a tip, or do you think you would leave the restaurant still in a very distorted, annoyed state of mind and saying, I'll never come and eat here again? I have given a tip, right, and I've given several tips to several waitresses and waiters, even when the experience wasn't all that. Why did I do it? Because the attitude these people, the attitude they brought forward to the table was one of care, one of concern, one of an empathetic view towards the whole situation, and that led me to be able to drop a tip for them. Now, how does this tie into what we're talking about today, which is coined attitude? So many diseases of attitudes that we all experience today. I mean, the man says to himself, I want a better job, right? And because I'm currently in this job that I don't like, hence they don't pay me well, they don't give me the time off, they don't give me the benefits I'm looking for, then he decides to be a terrorist. He decides to be a tyrant whilst on the job. What kind of result is that attitude that he's exhibiting? What kind of result do you think will come out of that process? Trust me, I can bet you he's not going to get a better job. He most probably going to have a lot of issues whilst he's currently on that job, and eventually he's probably going to lose that job until he changes his attitude. This I know the situation isn't what you want it to be. It isn't where you had envisioned yourself at this particular point in time to be. But the way you handle the situation will determine whether you're going to leave that current situation to where you feel is more preferable for who you are. But it is all tied to how you act during the current situation. Your attitude will determine whether or not you're going to move forward, or whether or not you're going to move backward, or whether or not you're going to remain stuck in that current state that doesn't bring you happiness nor joy. I'm going to tell you something else, right? I'm going to give you another example, and a lot of us will be able to relate to this. Are you someone, right, that you provide a form of a service or a business model whereby, I mean, every business that has to do with selling, buying, or services based has to be attending to a customer's need. Now, I'm going to play a very simple analogy here. Your customer walks into your business model, asks for whatever your services provide. Now, the idea naturally would be for you as the service provider to articulate what the customer actually wants, and that will be done during the process of requirement capturing or requirement gathering. Now, how do you best gather your customer's requirement if you do not listen, if you do not have an attitude of listening, right? And now you don't listen, your customer is trying to tell you what they actually want or how they want your services to impact on them, but you're very quick to jump in. You don't let them expatiate on exactly what they want. Every time the customer is trying to tell you this is what I want, you cut them short and say, oh no, I already know what you want. But you didn't listen, because of you already have this attitude of like, I know it all, or I know exactly what my product can do and how it will affect your life. Now let me take that back to a situation whereby this same, maybe someone else provides another service, a customer walks in and you have a listening attitude. You're not one who has an attitude of I know it all. Now this customer sits down and starts to share with you some of the challenges, some of their pain points that they currently are going through, and they hope, right, that the service or the product that you provide will be able to resolve this challenge. But the difference now is that you actually listen. You actually articulate what this customer actually needs from you, right? You don't cut them short. You let them pour it all out, right? Now, the process of actually listening with that attitude is that you will be able to recommend the best solution or the best product, or even in some cases tell that customer, my product or service is not what you actually need, because you had that attitude of listening. I'm going to take us to another example, an attitude of gratitude. You're someone who wakes up in the morning and you exhibit an attitude of gratitude. You are appreciative of the smallest good, the smallest things in your life that brings some sense of joy, right? That brings some sense of pride into your life. You appreciate the little things around you. You appreciate the fact that you're able to wake up in the morning strong, healthy, and energetic to be able to give your day the best of you. You show a continuous attitude of gratitude. Guess what then happens? You attract more into your life, because the little things you've been able to see past the negativity around you, and you've been able to appreciate that. Some people have an attitude of gratitude to be able to drink water. Some people have an attitude of gratitude to be able to go use the toilet, because they know there are people who currently can't even use the toilet, who haven't been to the toilet in days. There are people who can't experience certain things that are just natural, because they have some form of an ailment, or they have some form of some negative stuff going for them in their lives. Now, if we had to play that attitude of gratitude to someone who doesn't exhibit that, someone who exhibits an attitude of always complaining, that person wakes up in the morning and like, oh shit, I hate my job. Or they start like, why is there no light? Or they start like, why is this not happening? Or that attitude keeps suffocating their ability to show gratitude. And this is why I basically decided to put up this content today. I can go on and on and on about how your attitude will directly relate to how much progress, how much success you are allowed to make. What am I saying to us today out there consuming this content? You need to work on your attitude. If things are not going very well for you, think about how you can be positive in a state where everything is falling apart. Your attitude you bring towards the job determines how your boss perceives you. Your attitude you bring towards your immediate family perceives how your family also cements the way your family will perceive you as an individual, perceive you as a member of that family, and also would lead to how they would appreciate whatever value or whatever you're going to be bringing to the table. What am I saying to us today? Go check your attitude. If you have a bad attitude, if you're someone who's always complaining, if you're someone who's always negative, if you're someone if you're a proper pessimist, if you're someone who's always just all about it can't work, it never worked, and why should it work now, then you cannot be successful. You cannot make that amount of progress that would allow you become all you were created to be. I want us to experience an attitude of gratitude. I want us to experience an attitude of joy, and I want us to experience an attitude of empathy. I want us to experience an attitude of happiness, right? It's all a shift in how you feel, and that's why we coined it an attitude, right? What am I saying to us today? And I don't want to take up too much of your time. Try your possible best to exhibit more positive attitude. The more positive your attitude is, even when the situation is messed up, the more progress you would make, the more you will attract the good around. There's so much good, but you don't have the right attitude, hence your ability not to experience it, and hence your ability to stall your progressional journey in life. Come on, guys. In my usual fashion, I will always say this, and I'll always say this: let's all be all we can be, as long as we are exemplifying the right forms of attitude. Come on. I'm saying this to you watching this, right? I will see you at the top, and let's be all we can be. Cheers.